Oh, hello, world. How's everybody doing out there? This is me, Cam. Still me, trying to figure it out. Fitfo, if you know, you know. I am still here, bringing to y'all today episode 54 of the Real Resilience Talk podcast. And I got seated next to me, my man Keith right here, man. Everybody say, hey, Keith, hey, Keith. All right, y'all didn't say nothing, open your mouths. All right, this is going to be episode 54. We're going to talk about resilience, and we're going to talk about how can we sustain it, how can we maintain it, how can we apply it. But I want you to know this. We are two card-carrying American citizens using our First Amendment to express ourselves. So let me tell you this right quick. Nothing we say is a reflection of or endorsement from any official organization, to include the DOD or anything you may hear as reference. This is just two Americans using their First Amendment. If y'all mofos can be out there doing TikTok dances on duty in uniform, then I can sit over here and have a real honest, candid conversation about resilience and how can we be better. Does that sound good for everybody? Ground rules straight up front. And we are inspired by, motivated by, and sponsored by the First Amendment. We are sponsored by Nobody, baby. So that's the sounds of my Chi-Chi Rex. And I'm going to shut up on that, man. Keith, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming through, bro. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, dog. For real, dude. I just get out to the gate, man. Out the gate, man. Where you coming from? What's your background? And what is resilience to you, my friend?
So I'm from Long Island, New York.
Long Island, New York.
I enlisted in the Marine Corps right at 18 after high school.
Oh, shit.
As a 2651, I am now a Master Sergeant 2659 Intelligence, Data, and Technology Chief.
That boy smart.
I'm getting ready to retire. So I'm also a third-degree martial arts instructor trainer.
He'll whoop your ass, and he'll teach you something.
Nah. I just really appreciate the teaching part.
Yeah,
that's fun. And through it all, what I've learned in almost 20 years, resiliency is just the tools that you have and to keep going. I think the best analogy I would say, especially like running martial arts instructor courses, like I've run like 15 MAI courses throughout my career. And the biggest thing in between those courses, especially as you get older, you start pushing 30, 35, just the body maintenance of it all, you need to educate yourself and figure out what habits you need and know your limits. Yeah. And then do what you need to do to recover. So you can keep doing what you need to do, so I can get back in there the next day and still beat the crap out of these 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds.
Coming for y'all.
Yeah. And I'm a massive nerd. So I like the nutrition and, injury prevention aspect of it. I really nerded out on that. There were a lot of moments where I went plant-based because it really helped my recovery.
100%.
Yeah. Just for that. Because it gets difficult just like stretching and freaking icing and taking hot Epsom salt baths every single night. You just need to figure out what you need to do. Because if you don't do anything, something's going to break.
That's true. Y'all heard it, man.
You're going to have a problem. So, I think it's the set of tools, which includes knowledge. Really, about what you need to do to keep yourself going, keep yourself at a steady, healthy operating pace. Yeah.
I love that you said to recovery time. I know y'all heard that in there. You said recovery time because sometimes stress gets a bad rap. And I've said this on here many times before, but stress is not bad for us. We need stress. We need friction as human beings. However, stress with no recovery equals broke, but stress with recovery equals growth. So you're going to be broke, you're going to grow from it. So some of these obstacles that we find ourselves in, you got to see the opportunity in it as well. And there could be growth in it, but you got to have that, you said it, recovery time, and to be smart about how you take care of yourself. And you're not only your body, but your mind too. You said the knowledge, right? Yeah,
absolutely. So going off of crazy, nerdy knowledge, there's a lot of studies, and it's the types of stress. Types of stress are good. Certain types of stress are bad. Mainly, it's like the challenges are always great. The stuff that you push forward through and grow are always great. But that chronic stress.
That's true. Yeah.
So all that overtraining, overworking type stuff over a long period of time. And not even that, just like ruminating over things like the self-punishment type stress, the psychological stuff over long periods of time, that chronic stuff. That's where I'm going to plug my favorite science writer of all time, Robert Sapolsky.
Robert Sapolsky, y'all. Robert Sapolsky.
He's a neuroscientist and primatologist at Stanford University.
Okay.
And he has this book, Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers.
Why zebras don't get ulcers. So we try to provide tangible tools up here, y'all. That's a tangible tool. Robert Sapolsky?
Yes, Robert Sapolsky. Sapolsky.
You can Google the shit, and if you do it wrong, it'll say, "Did you mean?"
I'll probably switch in the A and the O, but Robert Sapolsky, Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers, and that's he always frames things in these funny kind of anecdotes, so it's a funny, entertaining book as much as it is about kind of some hard neuroscience concepts that could be a little rough to read through, but he puts everything in good layman's terms. But he's of the mind that like stress and depression is like the new cancer. It's the new chronic disease of humanity.
Yes.
And it's because of because of chronic stress, because of how we ruminate over things. Like, so just by the title, the first example, zebras don't get ulcers because after they're chased by a lion and they get away, they don't daydream and stress about it all day. Like,
and that's where you talk about the ruminating. Because that's a lot of syllables. What does ruminating mean? Because some of my listeners, if they're anything like me, we're like, what's that mean?
So like constantly reflect on something and to constantly like relive things in your
like
mind.
dwelling on it.
Yes, dwelling on it.
Continuing to just relive that shit over and over again and what ifs and woulda, coulda, shouldas, and you can't do shit about it right now.
Yeah, zebras don't do that. Once they're done running, they catch their breath, they go back to chilling and eating grass and stuff.
That's true. That's true.
That's a very human kind of problem and condition that we have with our brains, our ability to imagine, because we can imagine and plan ahead and think about the past and learn from the past.
That's right. So it's good. It's got its place.
It's good. It's got its place. But that means we can also picture, one, bad situations that happened before.
Right.
They're not happening now. So there's that dwelling.
Mm-hmm.
And bad situations that haven't even happened yet. That's stressing and freaking anxiety about stuff that's not even, like, imagine if a zebra was just walking around stressing that a lion might be nearby.
Probably lying around here.
Then they would absolutely have ulcers, but they don't until they don't stress about it until it's a problem.
That's deep. That's where it's, and we've said it. I mean, I've said it to the point of nauseum for anybody that's out here listening to episode by episode, but the perspective, the way you look at things. And some people accuse me before of like brainwashing myself with positivity to try to, it's trying to preserve a positive perspective. The same way I preserve pickles or pig's feet or anything. I'm trying to preserve it because that time or that lion, if you will, is going to come up and I'm going to need to be able to apply some of that positive thinking and framing, because if not, I'm just gonna be like, this sucks. Everything sucks. I'm going to dwell. I'm going to ruminate and downward spiral. Hello, sadness, my old friend.
Yeah, exactly. And, like I go to therapy. I go once every other week.
Yep.
So once every 2 weeks, and talking to my therapist, it's a lot of, we do the medication, we can do the exercises and stuff. Mindset is not like it's not like brainwashing yourself. Like you need some way to overcome that negative mindset.
Yes, you do.
Right. That negative mindset is the problem, and it's not to kind of dismiss people that do have problems. Like it's not as easy as flipping a switch.
No.
I think maybe some of those people that have problems, like I have those problems. I stress myself out and that's what I'm working through.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that positive mindset.
Yeah.
But I know, like when you say that, it's not, I think maybe people get upset that maybe some people say that's like flipping a switch. Oh, you just got to think differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not that easy.
No, hell no.
And I don't think he's saying that it's that easy.
No, not at all. Thank you.
But that's what you need to work on.
It is.
That's the core thing that you need to work on is adjusting that mindset and trying to get into a healthy brain space.
It is. It is. And that's why I always reference the brick by bricks right here. I got these bricks because, Jocko. Oh, shout out Jocko Juice. What's up? I'm drinking some. I'm not endorsed or anything. I just like Jocko, okay? But one of the things Jocko said is that, Rome wasn't built overnight. We've all heard that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, yeah, duh, since we were little kids. But Rome also didn't fall apart overnight either.
Yeah.
It was a brick by brick decay just as much as it was a brick by brick buildup.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those day by day battles, like what you're talking about how you frame things, how you look at things, that's going to be if you're adding a good brick or if you're knocking one down. And we're like creatures of habit. You can get on a fucking bad momentum and just, I mean, I've been there, man, to the point of like putting a belt around my throat and fucking sitting up at a door, you know what I mean? And being like, okay, this is because I went too far with it. And that's where we always say too, man, like you heard this man say he goes to therapy, like it's okay not to be okay, right? It's not okay to stay that way. So try to do something to change it up. And sometimes it's not something that you can do. You're going to need some outside help to help you do that. But you see this road where it's going. And I just say, before you let yourself get to a point where, you know, at the furthest you think about hurting someone else or hurting yourself or making a permanent decision, reevaluate that thing, man. Like, there's other people out there that want to help you. And you're hearing, this is a martial arts instructor, for anybody that doesn't know, MAI, martial arts instructor, tough man, you know what I'm saying? Been a Marine, hardcore, all that stuff, but is willing to say, I need help with the way I think. I need help with the way I approach things. And that might come in the form of every other week going to seek help and talk to somebody, or in other ways, in other forms. Like, what's some other things you do to maintain your resilience?
So I've done a lot of things and tried a lot of things, and I have a problem kind of creating new habits. But like I try to do the mindfulness stuff, meditation, when I am consistent on it, that works really well. Just simple things like breathing exercises. Like, that's why your body naturally sighs, really, because a deep breath really is just helpful for your body and your brain. Breathing exercises, PT training. You just do something physical. Achievements, anything that you like. Thankfully, I do have that constant like striving to do things, to accomplish goals. Thankfully, I can give myself certain wins on things I'm going after. Those help a lot, even though sometimes in those days in between, you know, I'm kind of miserable and down. Yes. Or it might be short lived. Like, I try to take that win and I try to ruminate and dwell on that win. You know, so I have this positive thing I can kind of reinforce in my mind. I think that it's a mental trick. I think it's called double dipping, or something like that. Yeah. So think about some major win. First of all, when it's happening, try to absorb every single thing that you can about it. Like anything that could help reinforce the memory, try to memorize, really soak it in and memorize as much as you possibly can about that moment. And try to use that as a pool to like double dip into later. Like, remember that time I was on top of the world for 5 minutes, you know?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
It helps tremendously. Yeah. It helps you like you are worth something, you know, and you are, you know, valuable because, you know, you have this memory of this moment where you were really valuable. Yeah. And everybody has multiple moments like that.
They do. But we're so negative biased, we just go automatically to the shit. And you're like, all right, yeah, that was good, but this. Yeah. Right? Like, somebody gives you 10 good comments, and you're like, yeah, cool, that's what's up. But then, like, one negative thing, you're like, motherfucker, what the, you know, and you ruminate, you dwell on it. And again, we know, like, throughout our history, it's got us to, you know, stabilize, survive, become civilization, and evolve to where we are. But, like, we can be at our own detriment if we go too far with it. And not, like you're saying, I've told this to my kids before, even if it's been something bad, like a bad play or something in sports, I'm like, write that down. Remember how you felt, because what your shirt says on the back, I saw it as soon as you walked in, you know, there's the pain of discipline or there's the pain of regret. So don't have this feeling again. But also, if it's a good feeling, like, capture that shit, write that shit down. You know, somebody sends you a good text, I got it on my phone, I'll screenshot it, I'll put it in a folder of remember these times. Because sometimes you just get so low, you're like, some people say, oh, well, that's outside validation, that's living in the past. Whatever. Look, man, you're trying to keep yourself above water because it's fragile if you walk that line of like morale, in a sense. You know what I mean? Because I know I'll dip, man. I dip hard, and I'll be like, what the fuck is this? And then that's why they put me on meds and shit. But yeah. Among other things. Yeah. So I've been on this like oscillating cycle for a long time. So it started with me. My first duty station was Okinawa, Japan, right? And I hit the ground running as a brand new Marine. I was like a 20-year-old brand new corporal when I went to the MAI course and I became an instructor. And this was back in 2007. There were almost no black belts around. Yeah. Like, as a matter of fact, people saw me wearing a black belt. They thought I was a corpsman. Like, there were so few back then, and I was like the only active instructor in my unit.
for
As
a long
corporal,
time.
and 20 years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
At 20, 21, 22. So I was a very popular Marine. Like everybody knew who I was. Everybody thought I was this heavy hitter. So I had a lot of those moments. The command appreciating me and giving me my props and all that stuff. So I was at a high.
Yeah.
And then these things started happening. Girl trouble, friends moving away.
Yep.
I took a break from teaching McMap. Too much drinking, as you do in your early 20s, especially in places like Okinawa.
Yep.
And at the time, I didn't know what was happening to me at the time. I just tried to like chalk it up to girl trouble, but I hit a deep depression where I stopped teaching to take a break. All my friends had either left Okinawa or were out deployed, and now I had a room to myself for the first time.
Yeah.
I was away from my family for all the holidays. And I just felt so socially isolated.
Yeah.
And I was still drinking.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because I was considered like, one of those water walker Marines at the time.
Yeah, he's got it all together, everybody. Those are some of the people that are hanging on by a thread.
Nobody questioned me coming into work at 9:30 hungover.
Yeah.
Like, ever just, he's got it. He'll figure it out. Nobody came to try to help me or anything. And it's a real low moment for me where I was contemplating suicide.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just didn't know, like, why do I feel this way?
Yeah.
Why can't I climb out of this? Like, I was, I've always kind of been a Boy Scout.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have like more than 2 6-packs in my room at a time.
Right.
Which is silly. So I was just taking 2 trips a day to the PX to down 4 6-packs of beer in my room by myself almost every night.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah. And I got low to the point where like knife in hand, like ready to be another number.
Yeah.
In the statistics. And unfortunately nobody talked to me, and I chose not to talk to anybody else because I didn't feel like I could.
Yeah.
The perception that I knew people had of me, and just, the climate back then in the Marine Corps, especially, those are uncomfortable conversations that, we don't like to have.
No, definitely not then. This is circa 2007.
Yeah, this is 2008.
2008, 9. Like, no, I mean, not to say nobody cared, but it wasn't a talking point. Like, empathy is now a leadership trait.
Yeah.
Like, that was something, like, there were some good leaders that were that had empathy, but that wasn't like that. It wasn't part of our vocabulary to talk about these things. It was like, you crazy and you get out.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent change. So the point of this story, I did finally dig myself. I finally just got, sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
And I finally lit a fire under my ass and got it going, which is not normal, not common. And I consider myself lucky for finally having a moment that I did that. But it created this sort of oscillation in my life, this like wave pattern up and down roller coaster where, I climb, I hit my highs, and then I take a break for it, and I dive down. And thankfully, I've never been that low again. Yeah. But I oddly accepted it as this new normal. Like, my mood is just gonna be a roller coaster from now on. It just kind of set me on this roller coaster path. Not very stable.
Yeah. So. But you had kind of already been through it. So did you know from the experience of like, okay, I feel myself getting low again. This is to be expected. And do you try to, like, what did you do to did you just wait it out? Like, cause I've heard that being a great, for anybody out there who's thinking about death by suicide or, you don't understand if you're not there, that people don't want to always die and hurt everybody. They just want their pain to end. Right. They don't realize in that moment, in that vulnerable state, in their judgment of having the depression or having the stress that they have on them, that it's actually going to have an opposite effect on everybody else. So it's not a real selfish act. They're actually, I know for me, I feel like I was doing people a favor, right? And there's a million different reasons, but know that people, they don't purposely choose to get there and then say, I want everybody, I'm going to show them, right? And then I'm going to hurt everybody. They really just want their pain to end, right? But you've been there before. You feel yourself going there. Were there anything that you did that helped you get momentum to come on the uptick, or did you just kind of ride it out and go, okay, these are the highs and lows of me?
No, just really quick to add on what you said. A lot of times it is hurting the other people that keeps you going for a while.
Yes.
Like that was probably what kept me going for a little while in that low mode. Like what about my mom? What about my family?
Yes.
What about the Marines around me?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that stops people sometimes. But for me, I don't know. I finally had enough. Yeah. I guess I waited through it long enough and I finally had kind of that attitude change. I just don't want to feel like this anymore.
Yeah.
And I just decided to pick myself up. Like I said, it was kind of like a fluke chance of happening. I really just feel like I got lucky.
Yeah.
That my brain finally decided to flip a switch.
Yeah.
Because I know it's not that easy because, all these highs and lows, plenty of lows, I can't seem to flip that switch,
Right.
Plenty of lows. I'm waiting it out until, I get sick enough of, sitting in my own like psychological filth.
Yeah. That's fair though.
Yeah.
That's fair. And that's how it feels. And, back to what you said about not wanting to hurt other people. That was my main reason for was my children, and thinking about your pain ends, but everyone else begins. Mm-hmm. And I've known people who have died by suicide, and it just, the transfer and generational transfer of pain. And people always wonder whether or not your rational mind goes, okay, they were in a dark place. They did what they did. You're like, irrational emotional mind goes, what could I have done? What could I have said? That all of that. So like you're left with that, and you don't want to put that on somebody else. But that's not to cast stones to anybody, but to try to avoid allowing ourselves, because we do have choices, in getting to a point where that feels like the only option. And that's why I always quote what General Nellis said a few years ago, where he said, never let yourself or your fellow Marines, like your brothers and sisters, get to the point where basically choosing an irreversible action is the only solution. And people get to that point, mm-hmm. And we have to avoid that and kind of, we say, know yourself, seek self-improvement. That's a leadership principle. Do we really do that? Sometimes by default, but do we really know ourselves or take the time to know ourselves? Or like you did, okay, I know I'm getting to this point. I need to switch some shit up, because not to try to, endorse his show, but Theo Vaughn on his podcast, he talks about nothing changes if nothing changes. Mm-hmm. So like, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude or do something different. I found that movement works. Like just moving your ass works. I've heard people come on the show and they've said, my man Mark, I love you, bro. Brad Bonar that runs 1 Degree of Separation, he said it. Even my man Jose said it. Wait. Yeah. If you're in that moment right now, wait, because this feeling of right now will pass. And then, like you said, there was a fire that irked underneath you. Like, what was there anything tangible that occurred, or tangible that you did, or is it just something switched for you?
Not that I remember. Something really just switched, which is because I don't know exactly what happened or why it happened. That's why I consider myself lucky.
That's beautiful, man. That should give hope, though. That should give hope to all of us out there. Like, it just happened. Yeah. You hung around and you felt better.
It just happened. And I would say, so part of that up and down, for me, when you're trying to get out of that, and you need to change something, you do something, and I know those things I need to do.
Yeah.
And I'll plan them and schedule them out, and then you still don't do them.
Don't do them.
You still don't do them.
So guilty.
Yeah. And then
guilty.
And then you beat yourself up about not doing them, and that's what keeps you in that cycle. And that's what, for the first step, number one, always, anytime you're trying to execute this plan, forgive yourself. That's it. Just forgive yourself for succumbing to being a human being like everybody else.
Everybody else is human too.
So if you know where you are and you know where you want to be, and then do the things you need to do to get where you want to be. But the first thing, just forgive everything that you already have or have not done so far. You just need to allow yourself to be human.
That's so real. Just that self-forgiveness. That's hard, man.
Yeah.
Especially for people, not everybody out there listening, you're a United States Marine, but like, we're like perfectionists by nature. Like, it's hard to not be the hardest critic. Even like Marcus Aurelius, the emperor's like, be strict with yourself and tolerant with others. And there's all these reinforcing things to like grind on yourself and be hard on yourself and self-critique. But you could do it to the point of your own destruction. Like it's almost not healthy. It's good to want to strive to be our best, shoot for the moon, but be okay with landing on the stars. And if you do, just be like, okay, that's okay. And one thing that helped me recently, man, I don't know if you ever hear him, but Dwayne from Dry Creek, you ever heard of that guy?
No.
Oh man, he's so cool. Y'all should look him up, man. Dwayne from Dry Creek right here. He's a real life cowboy, but he just got all this wisdom and shit. And one of the things he was saying recently, I heard him on Chris Williamson's podcast. He was talking about, and this helped me so fucking much because I'm always like, I have to progress or I'll regress, like very binary with that. Like if I'm not progressing, I'm regressing, right? And he was actually like, nah, sometimes we live in a world of integers. And he's like, some days I'm at a -3, but I didn't make that shit a -4. I didn't get to a -2. I didn't get to the +1 yet, but I didn't make it no -4. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'll come home from wherever I'm at and talk to my spouse, and she'll be like, how was it? Be like, I didn't fuck nothing up today. Basically, you know what I'm saying? And that really helped me, man, because that's kind of where I've been in recent times where I'm like, you want to be progress. You want to be better than you were yesterday. It's not about perfection. It's not about being better than the next person, but it's about being 1% better. But some days it's a game of integers, man. Yeah. It's like, I didn't get worse. I didn't fuck anything up to the point of no return. I can live to fight another day,
It's another good mindset thing.
It helps. And to give yourself, like you said, that forgiveness, man, that self-grace. We'll give it to other people all day long. We'll give it to other people all day long. Some of us won't. Some of us are assholes. I've been there before. I'm a recovering asshole. Sorry if I was an asshole to you if you're out there listening ever before, but I'm trying to learn. I'm forgiving myself for it. Can you too? No, I'm just playing. But in all sincerity, like Will Smith talks about self-discipline is self-love. You know what I mean? Like that same discipline and being willing to forgive yourself is that self-love. And you got to, not to get all Whitney Houston and the greatest love of all. Sorry. But it matters. It matters. How are you working through that now? This has been since 2008, 9.
Yeah. So I just sort of, like for a long time, I just sort of accepted it as a fact of my life. Like, maybe I just keep burning myself out and I need extended recovery time, and that's why I just sort of accepted this roller coaster. I'll knock it out of the park for 5 months and then let myself take a mental break for a couple months. And so let myself like idle, right? Yeah. And not get worse, but not get better either, right. For a while. And it was really just, I've learned it's more like depressing mood swings is really what it is. And then because when I'm in that depressing mood for a while, it takes me a while to sort of climb my way back out. But right now, like I said, I'm going to therapy. I am on meds. I would just say for somebody with the lethargic side of ADHD, like Adderall is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
It helped.
Yes. Yeah. I remember like the first day I took it, I got home and I just kept cleaning and for like 2 hours. And it was just one of those things. That's like another thing, like just getting the dishes done sometimes.
Yeah.
Is a freaking is a chore. And
feels impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for me, it's been right now that the thing that keeps me working towards goals has been stand up. And it's been fantastic.
That's medicine right there. Everybody heard that.
That's what you really need is a healthy hobby.
Healthy outlet, y'all.
I mean, sometimes stand up probably isn't a good healthy hobby.
That's true. It hurts your feelings sometimes.
Yeah, drinking comes with it, and bombing does not help with depression at all. But if you can do pretty good, it's an amazing lift.
It is, man.
It's an amazing boost to your mood. Just feeling good about yourself. How, I made a bunch of people laugh.
Yeah.
So a bunch of people had a slightly better day.
Yeah.
Because of some silly shit that I thought of.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. Yeah. I didn't want to give it all away, but like, you heard, y'all probably assume, and I would too, if I was listening, okay, Cam affiliated with the Marines. He said he's a Marine. Maybe they met no, we didn't. We actually met at open mics, doing open mics in our area. Right. And y'all know me, I guess I'm in recovery, but I'm 5 years sober. So like for me, it's a healthy outlet for me because it helps me to do things, whether it's DJing or podcast. I like to do activities that that I can't do fucked up. So it makes me not want. So I could be in a bar, but as long as I got a mic or I'm DJing or something, I'm fine, right? But in seeking that healthy outlet, for me, that's medicine for me. Maybe not for you. You won't know it until you try it, though. You know, if you ain't never went fishing, you don't even know if you like fishing. So if you ain't never tried open mic, or if you ain't never tried stand up, you may not know if you like it or not. But wound up talking to this man. I didn't even know until we talking today. We both did ASAP.
Yeah.
And actually, we both did comedy before that, and then did ASAP to enhance and to grow. So it was crazy that we even, but at open mic, that's where we met, you know, and saw each other, being honest, at medical, right? At behavioral health, at a behavioral health, mental health session. I'm like sitting in the waiting room, I'm like, hey, man, ain't you from open mic? Ain't you from open mic? Oh, shit, what's up, bro? Like, it's a small world out there, man. But being just totally vulnerable, there we were, right? I saw him doing stand-up where you totally expose yourself as a human and put yourself out there for the whole world to judge you, everything. But there's this exhilarating, toxic, like, it's not toxic in a negative, but just like a high. I can't describe. I can't drink it. I can't inject it. I can't swallow it. It's just, I can't describe it, right? But, and also seeing the same gentleman at another spot where you're totally vulnerable and totally naked in mental health and we're there for our regular appointments and just happen to chop it up and be like, oh snap, you do this, I do this, like all these common interests. You just never know what other people are going through, or actually what's helping them may be helping you and you don't even know it yet. So I just share that as oh snap, that's how we met. And then that's how we got the idea to come together to talk about this, because I know for me, stand up is a medicine. You just described it as a medicine for you, man. And I share that Armed Services Arts Partnership so much, because even if you're just affiliated, like, you know, I've known people whose parents had served at some point, or their brother served, or you're a caregiver of some sort, so affiliated with the military, you can get into ASAP, Armed Services Arts Partnership, and they got workshops and they got classes and they got community, which I didn't want to stop you earlier, but one of the biggest things of what it sounded like led to you, you know, downward spiraling was community. Your community got taken away, the relationships. And I review, it's hard, but I review suicide cases, and one of the biggest things, man, the main contributor is relationships. Mm-hmm. So you can build relationships. You can find other weird fucks like you that like stand-up comedy, or like drawing, or like theater, or like whatever the thing is, man.
Yeah, they do have all those programs. The storytelling, writing, acting, all those programs sound great. So it doesn't even have to be something as absolutely terrifying as stand-up comedy.
Yeah, but it's fun, and you know what's cool is I think humans have a way of trauma bonding, or the misery loves company factor. Yeah. You're going through it together. You know, it's a lot of times people assume, especially like in martial arts stuff, they think when you go to a gym or something like that, like everybody's like, you know, going to be like, what you doing here, punk? Or, no, actually, there's some of the nicest, kindest, gentlest humans ever. And then it's the same with stand-up. I mean, so far, right? Now, the people who sit there and want to heckle and shit, they don't have the courage to get up there and try anything, but they'll say some smart ass shit. But the other comics that are going up, they know your pain. They know you're struggling. Every time we step off the stage, man, somebody's there to dap you up, be like, yo, good job. Even if you didn't do a great job. And it's not just to give you fake praise. It's just to show you support, because you're going through it together. It's a cool community, man. Try it out. That's what I say.
It is. Oh, it's a great community.
And it's healthy outlets. Like you said, you got to have a healthy hobby. You can't just do your job, whatever that job may be, man. That shit will drive you crazy. I've been there.
Yeah. Anything, drawing, martial arts, or running, a freaking rock climbing, just any hobby, really. Any hobby that gets you focused on something and off your phone for a little while.
Yeah. Doom scrolling.
Yeah.
But you also said the phone is what? You said earlier? What are we
walking
honestly,
around with? It's a double-edged sword, but like everybody's walking around with the Library of Alexandria in their pocket. Like you can Google anything now and you can learn anything. It is all free on the internet, which I love this digital age.
I do too.
As much as it comes with that other side of like the horrible like social media aspect of it. Yeah. And that's another psychology thing. So like humans, our brains are just not designed to know more than 150 people. Like that was the crazy transition from villages to city states, you know, where like it used to be there was no anonymity, you know, like everybody knew everybody in the village knew everybody in the village, from 50 to 150 people. And that was the end point of our evolution. And then, you know, agriculture came and trade opened up and city states started being developed. And now there's tens of thousands of people in one spot. And now you have anonymous people walking around that you don't know. And that's been fine for our brains for a while until we just connected the entire planet through the internet.
Oh,
And now everybody's inundated with information and craziness 24/7 and getting like addicted to it because we're a social species and our brain wants information about other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's a part of it right now, is trying to get out of that cycle. Is we're just taking in too much every single day. So temper that with a hobby that takes you off your phone, that takes you off those things for an extended period of time.
That's real. Is that what you do to because I find myself like I have to set the limits, and even then I've said it on here before, I'm guilty. I'll be like, ignore, and I'll keep going on, proceeding and stuff like that. And I can say the excuse, well, I use it to promote this positive podcast I do, and I use it to find out where open mics are and do comedy and stuff. But there's times I'm just scrolling and just talking shit. You know what I mean? I try not to be negative. If your algorithm's negative, it might be because you're flirting with negative things. Nothing in my algorithm comes up negative unless you're one of my friends that say something negative. But other than that, you get what you give in a sense, but like even when you're over inundated with it, you said over inundated. That's such a big thing, especially when you talk about Alexandria and all that kind of shit. Like there's more than one way to burn the books. I can either do what they used to do, is burn the whole library and take all the knowledge away from you, or I could just overwhelm you with so much you don't even know what the fuck is right or wrong or real or indifferent, right? Like that's where we're at.
Yeah, even if it is positive, it's still a bunch of mental, social interaction. It's still you absorbing content, positive or negative. It's just still a lot. Like just like going to any kind of class or course that you absolutely love. I'm a big anthropology, neuroscience nerd. I love that stuff. It's still like mentally draining.
Yeah.
Like you can't do that for 12 hours a day.
Oh,
you just can't absorb all that much. And that's what you're doing.
That's true. That's true.
So yeah, I use an app blocker on my phone. So
an ad blocker?
An app
blocker,
app
yo.
blocker,
app blocker
gotcha. on my phone, and that just shuts down my social media apps if I'm on it for like 10 minutes and within an hour.
Really?
Yeah. So I have to wait for the next hour to get 10 more minutes.
Let you in.
Yep.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I mean, sometimes you gotta set those boundaries, and that's hard to do, man. To just be honest with ourselves, have that self-love to be like, okay, I suck at this left to my own devices. I'm gonna need this outside thing to check me.
And that just, again, even though it's the thing that's torturing you, again, Library of Alexandria, there's still, so Google how to fix that. Google how to circumvent that. Like, how do I address this problem? The answer is also on your phone. And that's how I find app blockers. And that's how I find silly neuroscience books about stress.
Yeah. No, it's good, but you're using it for good because, just like weapons, right? Guns, they defend freedom and all that good stuff, but they also are used to shoot up schools. It's all in how you use it. You know what I mean? It's the thing itself by itself can't do certain things. Technology is a little bit more advanced than that, and it can actually activate with us now with certain things and kind of get into our OODA loop more than a stable item like a weapon or a book can. But if you use the right discretion, if you have the right discipline, that book, you talk about neuroscientists and things like that. I always listen to Andrew Huberman, and I admire him a whole lot. And he had Anna Lemke on his show, and she talked about, because she's at Stanford and she's an addiction specialist, and she did the book Dopamine Nation. And it's really anybody out there that wants to understand, just to understand, because knowing's half the battle. Knowing yourself, you'll be able to seek self-improvement. You know your people, you're able to properly implore them and help them. If you can understand the problem, that's half the battle. That Dopamine Nation is, and it's kind of like what her premise is like, yes, depression and anxiety are at an all-time high. Yes, all these things are the way they are. But is it just because of where we are, or are there things provoking it, i.e. this over-nourishing, stimulating, over-dopamine giving system, lifestyle that we are in now, that our ancestors, we're not evolved to be in, right? And she gets into that, and even examples where like she had a guy that came in there was like depressed and anxious, and she got hip to not doing what she was taught to do in the 80s and 90s, was just prescribe something to uptick in SSRI, but actually asked, what's this dude's lifestyle? And he was in IT. And so he's staring at screens all day. And then in his free time, all he did was play video games. And he only played video games with other people, all that kind of stuff. But that could be a good thing, because it'd be social right there. So what she did was she made him not stare at screens for like 30 days and then come back. Like had a modified work schedule, modified life schedule, because you can't always avoid screens always, right? But in his own free time. And his symptoms had reduced significantly to where she didn't have to put him on meds. And then they put him on a treatment plan to where, yes, you can play the screens, you can be on the game and all that kind of stuff, but only for this amount of time per day. And when you do it, you only do it with other people. So now it's a social thing, and it can be a helpful tool for you, because some people, that's how they socialize, and that's fine. That's fair. But if that's the only thing you do, it gets into the bad side of it. And just with addiction, with any of that stuff, man, anybody out there that's recovering or just aware of yourself, one of the things they said on that I always try to remember is, no matter how far, and I'm 5 years sober, you go down the road of good decisions, you're always the same distance from the ditch. So it's like, don't get complacent, don't stagnate, because if you do, and again, sometimes we got to hit a pause, right? The integers, I'm not trying to rebuttal that or anything like that, but if you fall off, that ditch is still waiting for you. No matter, you could be 20 years sober, 20 years of doing the right thing, 20 years not being addicted to this thing, and then you fall off. And yes, you can start again, but that relapse is real. But it's not just for the addictions. It could be with your mental health, you relapse. You know, I've been there before, man. I'm like, how the fuck am I here again?
Yeah. I like addressing like dopamine.
Yeah.
And another neuroscience book has to do with, the chemicals, stress chemicals and stuff in your body. Because I think a lot of people think about, psychology and the mind and wave it away as kind of like this silly, like metaphysical thing that doesn't really exist. That I hate it when people say, yeah, that's just all in your head.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the most important organ in my entire body?
Most important.
Yes. Absolutely. It is in my head.
Yes.
Like, that's what I appreciate about reading things about neuroscience and all the studies on this, is that like allow and accept and again, forgive yourself, because every feeling that you have, every thought that you have, all of these are chemical reactions happening in your brain that are happening in the physical world. Like it's real. Your feelings are valid. Your feelings are literally physically real.
Yeah.
And I think going with this old culture in the Marine Corps and
the way it was,
any other macho culture,
macho
right?
culture.
It's time they accept that.
Mm-hmm. It is. And we can get stronger and take care of each other better when we're more in touch. And that doesn't mean, some people will say we're kind of doing an overcorrection right now. Like everybody's going to be, I think we're at a transition point for sure. We're at a friction point in history to where we're becoming more open-minded. And I don't think it's going to make us any worse. And there is a time, especially for those who are first responders or in macho-esque type, occupations, there's a time where you do have to compartmentalize and you do have to suppress it and you do have to keep moving in that moment. But to kind of learn yourself and learn when to have the judgment of saying, no, actually, I need to take a break right now. But there are times, if you're in a firefight, it's probably not the time to be like, hey, you know what? I'm really down right now. Actually, we need to fucking go. Right. So I don't think that it's an absolute or it's a direct binary that if you're in touch, you're, have empathy and you're mindful of neuroscience or just art, like you said, the most important organ in our whole body. Right. You're also going to automatically freeze up or you're also going to automatically be soft. I think actually it takes a lot of courage. And I say this to everybody and people say it to say, I do need help and I'm willing to accept the help. That can save lives, not only for you, but for the example that sets for somebody else. Right. And you're hearing two pretty senior people, accomplished people sit up here and say, yep, meds, go to therapy, still trying to figure it out. Nobody's made it. Like, hey, I did this 7-step recipe and everything's perfect now. Man, I'm still trying to figure this shit out, but I'm still trying to figure it out. Like I'm still moving forward. And I think that is sometimes when I always say on here, how I describe it is that little rocky shit I got up there. Like, hey, budgie, here's budgie, you can get here and keep moving forward. That to me is resilience. Like how much can you take and keep moving forward? And sometimes it's just, you can't see all of the craziness in front of you, but can I take one step? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. One step, or don't take a step back. Right. It's hard. Life is hard. That's just what it is, man. But it's better if you're around. And I just ask everybody to please, it's okay not to be okay, but don't stay that way. Don't stay that way.
Yeah.
Sucks.
But don't beat yourself up about it either.
That's right. That's right.
Sometimes you take a step back and you get stuck taking a step back and it's, you don't focus on that. You think, okay, well, that's where I want to go. I need to stop standing here thinking about this backward step and beating myself up for it.
Yeah.
And, pat myself on the back for moving forward when I do move forward.
Yeah. And also think too, and I suggest this to anybody, I'm not a prohibitionist, okay? That shit led to NASCAR and gangster movies, okay? So I'm not saying we should have prohibition again. I'm just saying that if you find yourself in these states, pouring a substance on it, or any kind of substance really, and 9 times out of 10 is not going to, it'll make you feel better for that moment, but it's not going to fix your situation, and it may potentially make your situation worse. So nothing changes if nothing changes. All I'm saying is don't just seek the bottle, or don't just seek a magic pill, or a high of some sort, like cocaine type shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that can lead to so much bad, and it can also flip your whole dynamic. When we talk about dopamine and stuff, I know we all know people out there that they can't be happy unless they have the substance, and then whatever else is happening. They'll be in the middle of Disney World with the most beautiful significant other and the dream, everything, and they'll be miserable because they don't have their Oxycontin. They don't have whatever the thing may be. So you don't want to go there either. I'm just saying, because sometimes, man, it makes you irrational. We're already irrational to be in the profession that we're in a little bit, and to be doing the things we're doing. And probably even listening to a podcast like that, you're probably irrational already, right? A podcast like this. So you add something to that, you may start thinking that bad decisions are good decisions, and you can't see that right now, man. What are some things, I know you said comedy, exercise, the nutrition, but what are some things that have consistently, like some cornerstone things for Keith that have kind of kept you on the straight and narrow,
man? For me, it's been, the Marines around me, honestly, keeping me going, both
That's awesome,
subordinate and superiors, really. Because, the younger Marines, you want to be who they think you are, or at least who you think they think you are. And then sometimes you get put on a pedestal, and you don't want them to see you off of it.
Yeah.
That has helped tremendously. And it's a lot of pressure sometimes, but that has been something that has motivated me a lot throughout my career. And then also I've thankfully had I've worked for a lot of great Marines that, showed empathy from the get-go, and let me be human, and let me have my, broken moments, where I needed help, or I just needed time, or, or I just wasn't going to be Gunnery Sergeant Becker or Master Sergeant Becker in that moment.
Yeah.
They let me be Keith for a moment.
Yeah.
And, because nobody's invincible.
Nobody.
Like, no matter what Marine, no matter freaking General Mattis is not invincible. No. I guarantee you he has his moments, and he doesn't show it for his subordinate Marines. That's
right.
Because that's what you try to do as a leader. So yeah, absolutely. The people around me I've had through my career have kept me going.
That's deep,
a lot of times.
Like it or not, we're all we got. That's what I've always told my people, man. Like, relationships. I mean, people need, I don't care what you believe in, y'all, like theology, geology, worship algebra, for all I care. I don't care. One thing that's true through all of human history, or even if you're an introvert, is that people need people, man. And sometimes you just got to find your people. You know what I mean? Like, get out there, put yourself out there. But also I say too, with that, be careful with who you're calling your people too. Right. Some people you get stuck with. That's what it is. It's called orders, right? Not want tos. And sometimes you just get, my pop used to say, you can pick your nose, you can pick your ass, you can't pick your family. You know what I mean? Like the father, mother, brother, sister, that's what you got. Right. But at the same time, try to surround yourself, not in a goody two shoe type way or in a snobby type way, but are these people leading me in the better direction? Am I making them better? Are we making each other better? Right. Because people need people. But if you go isolated, you got to find your tribe, man. I mean, you could read Sebastian Unger about tribe and just how wired and tapped in we are to needing that connection, man. And if you're not finding it right now, we'll change something up, And I echo this a lot. People are like, I ain't got no friends. Well, Maya Angelou told us to her son, go and be a friend. Go and try to be a friend to somebody else, and you'll see, you know what I mean, that we're all in this crazy thing called life, trying to figure it out. Anybody who says they do have it figured out, be careful, especially if they want you to make contributions to their cause. Be careful, they're probably running a cult. Okay, nobody's got to fucking figure it out. That's what I'm saying. We're all just figuring it the fuck out every day, and sometimes like the fucking movie, was it Wild Robot? The mom in there was like, I'm not programmed to be a mother. And the little possum was like, me neither. None of us are. We're just making it up as we go. You know what I mean? As being parents or being Marines or being humans in this world. But I ask everybody out there, are you doing what Keith just described? Are you trying to be there for your people? Are you allowing them to be there for you? Because sometimes, man, reaching out for help, you're actually doing other people a favor, because people do want to help. But you know what else? We're not fucking mind readers. So it's like some Jerry Maguire, help me, help you. Sometimes you got to speak up, but people more times than not want to help. And I think I will firmly always believe that no matter what the news tells us, that there's more good people in the world than bad. I do think people want to. So you kind of take that away from them. Yeah. If you don't ask for that help, if you don't lean on them. And I think, you try it out, man. But that doesn't mean everybody's going to be perfect, man. You just got to find your people, man. So I think the social connection is what we lose sometimes, and personal resilience. That's why I wanted to have this show, to talk about things like what worked for you may not work for me. I got a broke ass hip. I ain't got no business doing no MAI. You know what I'm saying? I can't take that as a healthy outlet, but I can do some other shit you said. You know what I'm saying? And that's because we don't know what we don't know. And we can always learn some shit though. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I appreciate you taking time to be here today.
Absolutely.
Listen to me bump my fat ass gums.
Nah, this is great. What you're doing is awesome. I love this. So thank you, bro. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah. And like I tell you and anybody else, man, if you're like me, I get done with an argument or I get done with a conversation, I walk away and I go, oh, fuck, you know what I should have said? Or you know how many times I get off stage and I go, oh, shit, I forgot my own shit. You know what I mean? I didn't tag it here. Oh, you know what I could have said? Yeah. If you get one of those moments, man, you are welcome anytime, my friend, to come back, get on here. Let's chop it up. Let's try to share some ways to really, what is resilience and how can we maintain it, sustain it, and then keep going through this life in a good way together as one human species. Now I just had a call to action. That was fucking weird. Trying to start my cult, man. I always ask everybody when they come on the show, one thing I always ask is if someone was in that moment right now where they were contemplating death by suicide, where they were thinking, I hear all y'all fucking great. That's what's up. My switch hasn't switched yet. I'm not fucking about it. They're thinking about taking their own life. If you could say something to them, what would you say?
Talk to somebody immediately. Now. Anybody. Just talk to anybody that you trust to hear you out. It is the one thing that's gonna give you like one instant small moment of relief. Just, that mental sigh, that exasperation of getting something off your chest. Even if you don't have any friends, other service members, anybody that you can think of, call your mom, call your dad. Everybody should have somebody. If not, call a hotline.
That's right.
But you need to trauma dump on somebody you trust as soon as possible. As soon as possible, right now, and that you're going to have that immediate kind of moment of relief. And it's every time I've, been in those moments, that was the first thing that was always sort of the first step, to getting back, getting back to being myself. Right. You need to tell somebody, you need to talk to somebody. And then after that, that's where you start. Okay, now how do I fix this? Now, what professional do I talk to? Now, what habits do I need to break? That's when you start making the plan. But right now, just talk to somebody immediately. Yeah.
People want to help. And like he said, hotline, y'all know 988, right? 988. If you in trouble, call 988. What? 988. See, I'm going to stick it in your fucking head. It's going to be stuck in your head now. 988, right? If you're suicidal, call 988. That we just like with the National Registry of 411. Some of y'all ain't even heard of that shit, but that's for information, right? Mary J. Blige, what's the 411? And also 911 for emergency. Now there's 988. You can call that, and there's somebody there that wants to hear you, listen to you, and talk to you, man. But I think you're so right, man. I appreciate that, dude, because you're right. Talk to someone right now. Somehow if you sitting there just dwelling wherever you're at, you're ruminating. I learned my word today. Get your ass up and go talk to somebody in some way. And people telling you, man, this world isn't perfect, but staying around it is worth it. And you being in it makes it better. And I believe, I'll go ahead and say what I believe. If God didn't want you to be here, if the universe didn't want you to be here, whatever you want to believe in, if you weren't supposed to be here, you wouldn't be here. Like, don't go trying to make that decision yourself. Please don't. Please don't. And for all the rest of us, man, everyone you meet, even the people who think they got it all good to go, hot shot corporal over there leading MAI, meritorious this, getting recognized for that, maybe holding on by a fucking thread, man. And everyone you meet, God rest his soul, like Robin Williams said, everyone you meet's fighting a battle that you know nothing about. Everyone you meet's fighting a battle you know nothing about. So what'd he say? Be kind. It don't cost nothing. It's important. What The Rock say, it's important. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. You know what I'm saying? And you can rock bottom somebody after that shit. But you know what I'm saying? Like, for real, man. I know that people could listen to this and go, oh, some happy talk. Isn't this convenient? Yeah, it is. Right now, we're in a comfortable, convenient position talking about these things, and we're on the other side of some things. But people want to be where you are with you and meet you where you're at and be there for you. And then you never know. Maybe you just only went through this shit so you can help somebody else go through it and get through it, right? And grow through it. Maybe that was the only reason why. I don't know. But you being around is what we need. So please don't make a permanent decision over a temporary situation. All of this shit. Would you say you like history and anthropology? All of this shit is temporary, right? Any closing thoughts, my friend?
I just thank you for having me, man. Again, I love what you're doing here. This is awesome. It's important. And I'm glad like our community is moving in the right direction.
Yes.
And, and we have 8999s talking about servant leadership and like,
Ruiz, the man.
Empathy is a new leadership trait, and leaders like you out here doing stuff like this. So
thank you, man.
I appreciate you, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, brother. And I appreciate you and being down for the cause, right? Because some people are like, oh, what is this new old soft shit out here? What is this shit? Shut your ass up, man. Even Sergeant Major Canley, Way City, Medal of Honor recipient, said if your Marines come to you with a problem, you need to take care of that. If you take care of them and you take care of their problems, help them take care of their problems, they'll do whatever they can to accomplish the mission. That ain't no old Corps, new Corps. That's just Marine Corps. That's just human 101, taking care of people, man. So it is my privilege. It is my pleasure, man. Thank you for being here. And shout out to the 8999 of them all, Sergeant Major Ruiz, telling us that he loves us. Senior leaders that say that you love people, man. That don't mean I gotta like your ass all the time, but I love you. That's so deep and meaningful because, what greater love than for another man to lay or woman to lay their life down for another. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we do to support and defend this Constitution, right? So keep pushing, keep moving forward. I'm going to play some Monchichi Rex for y'all, right? How can people find you if they want to find you and go to a comedy show you at, man?
Keith Becker Comedy on Instagram. And I've YouTube out right now. Also, Keith Becker Comedy.
Becker Comedy, y'all. Yeah, man. Y'all got to check him out. This dude is hilarious. Smooth Delta, man. He's a smooth operator. All right. Keep making good choices, y'all. Be there for each other, good or bad. I promise you this too shall pass. Much love to you all. And now once again, I drank some Jocko juice over here, right? But we are sponsored by Nobody, baby. Y'all like that? Keith Sweat. Oh, Keith Sweat. Look, Keith Sweat. Much love. Kill.